Alright, so my topic is student choice in the classroom. I'll be talking about how students are affected, how less blame can be put on teachers, how students can get a head start to the real world, advantages in the classroom, students taking charge of their education, issues in our current education system, and my biblical connection. So many students fail classes that they won't even need uh, for the career they end up pursuing. Not only does failing classes lower their self-esteem, but it also lowers the student's overall GPA, which may prevent them from getting into the college that they want to go to. Shannon Knight, a student at Stanford University, claims that why students choose what they learn in school is because it would give them more motivation and drive to do what they are interested in, and altogether lead to greater active participation and engagement from the students in the classroom. Giving kids a say in the educational process has a big influence on their academic goals and personal growth. People are more likely to study things that spark their interests and match with their passions. Um, and it also boosts their self-esteem, and because their interests are valued and acknowledged, since this validates their self-worth. Shannon Knight also states every student at some point in their life has spaced out during class. However, many students are interested in the lesson, but the lesson isn't necessary at all for their future. This quote proves that when a student is learning something that they are not interested in, it can provoke them into thinking school is a waste of time and not needed for them in their future. Another reason why students should choose what they learn is that when students are allowed to choose, they lose the right to blame their teachers for any regret that they may have over the topic. Students who take ownership of their education become more responsible for creating an enjoyable and learning environment. Mary Ellen Roberts, one of the most respected experts in the country on effective college teaching, claims that when students make a decision, they're more likely to own it. Less blame can be put on the teachers if students don't like what they're learning. Making the decision about what to learn encourages students to accept more of the responsibility for the learning. And this indicates that students can't blame the instructors alone for their lack of interest in a particular subject. Instead, they have the opportunity to explore other areas that they think they are interested in, which adds to the aspect of value and pleasure in the education. Hence, by choosing the information they are passionately looking for, students accept the power to shape their educational journey and take ownership of their own success. Another reason why students should have the right to have a say in what they learn in school is if they are learning something they're thinking about taking on in the real world, they will already have a head start because the classes will have prepared them, and it won't be anything new to them. Shannon Knight exclaims, instead of putting the focus on what really matters, preparing students for the real world and life after high school, students are required to take up their time and effort. When given the flexibility to follow their interests, students often pick up the knowledge and abilities needed for their desired fields. Students get specific to industry, information, problem-solving skills, and edge over others when they join the workforce with the aid of this experimental and practical learning approach. Furthermore, when students engage themselves in the area of their interest, they can actively look for mentorships, internships, or anything to build up their resume and get the practical experience that they need. And this just helps them overall with their professional goals. And as many high school students know, it's hard to make up time for hours of homework while trying to balance their health, keep a job, and sports. And this just adds to the list of reasons why students should have a say in what they learn, because homework on a topic that doesn't engage them can be boring and seem like a waste of time. Beyond the academic year, student choice in the classroom has several advantages. When students have the opportunity to utilize their voice in the classroom throughout their K-12 education, they are more equipped to make responsible decisions, advocate for themselves, and choose their own course of action. Prioritizing student voice throughout the academic year results in a classroom full of capable students who are actively involved in their education. Students who are encouraged to speak up and make decisions in their classroom are proactive learners and take the initiative to explore new ideas. They are also more likely to be resilient in the face of setbacks and to work more cooperatively with their peers. As every educator is aware, including students fully in the learning process is one of the greatest ways to avoid behavior problems in the classroom. Including student voice and choice in the design of the classroom is a powerful method to create learning environments that genuinely engage the kids. Teachers and parents may worry that their kids won't learn the things that matter the most. On the other hand, children who are forced to study an approach that doesn't align with their interests will not perform well in school. And I believe that students who can choose their topic, they will make new friends, hang out with old ones, and study the things that they want to do or become. In addition, I think it's important for students to choose their own courses since it gives them a chance to take charge of their own education. Prior to attending high school, students have studied in elementary and middle schools where they have the most familiarity with their strongest topics. Plus, classes that students find extremely boring are being taught to them in modern classrooms. And as a result, they fail at them and waste time, money, and effort because they lack the drive to complete them. Some kids, as I mentioned previously, do not desire to succeed in some areas. A couple of students actually do. It's a question of choosing. Indeed, parents may argue that certain kids lack maturity and will make poor choices. The students will, however, learn their lessons about choosing the incorrect choice if they make the wrong decision. They will also solve the issue on their own and grow away from their parents. In the opinion of Heather Walpert-Gorin, an award-winning middle school teacher and a passionate ed tech advocate, states, according to the Student Engagement Survey, student choice is listed one of the most engaging strategies a teacher can allow in the classroom. Want to know how to engage students, enthuse them, and bring out their best efforts. Want ways to differentiate organically and give them voices in their decisions. In a society that barely listens to each other, listen to our students. In a system that can be a flood of top-down, let your classroom be one that allows voices to trickle up. We have in our very classrooms the brains that will solve the problems of tomorrow, but to give them training means we have to give their neurons a chance to solve the problems of today. A lack of time spent on lessons that will benefit students in life and their jobs, and an excessive amount of time spent in classes that will not help them are the main issues with our current educational system. When it comes to the problem of students committing enough time to unnecessary classes, relevancy must be taken into account. When students are unable to connect between what they are learning in the classroom and real-world scenarios, they may become disinterested and unmotivated. Students may lose out on opportunities to acquire critical abilities and problem-solving skills. Furthermore, spending time on pointless classes can put a pressure on educational resources, including financing, teaching supplies, and teachers' time and energy. By using what students like and think in lessons, teachers can make learning more interesting and useful. This way, teachers make sure that time in class is used well and focusing on the things that matters the most to the students. It's also time to stop. It also stops time from being lost on things that don't matter. This diverts focus from areas that require more immediate attention. And going back to what I said earlier about preparing kids for life beyond school. But if we continue to trap our students in a system and in a class where they are not given the choice of what and how they learn, then we will continue seeing students not feeling as high school was made for them in the future. Proverbs 18:15, the heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. Prudent means to be wise or clever. So the heart of the wise getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. The importance of this is the questioning and observing attitude toward the educational preference of students. The writer, in this case, it compares students who are eager about what they're learning and applying to gain knowledge with people having an understanding ear and understanding heart. In the surrounding verses, I noticed that a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. And I think that this also can be seen as we all have gifts and we can use those gifts to become successful. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. The main idea of the passage is that the first step you have to take on seeking knowledge is fearing the Lord. Without fearing the Lord, your soul is lost. Fools will look for instruction instead of seeking the Lord's help because they haven't feared the Lord yet. This ties into my topic because as students, we should first put our faith and trust in the Lord and also fear Him. When we fear Him, we are acknowledging that He is above us and controls everything, including what our future holds. And if students were allowed to choose what they learn in school, then that should be preyed upon heavily. And we should be asking God what He thinks about that. And in the surrounding passages, it talks about how a student who hears will learn, and men of understanding shall attain unto the wise. This meaning, as students, we should hear first to what God and others have to teach us, and men of understanding shall achieve wisdom. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean on to your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. The main idea of this passage is that keeping your faith and trust in God will keep your path straight. And I think this is relevant to my topic because as young Christian men and women, we should be relying on God in our day-to-day activities and actions. And something like choosing what we learn in school should be preyed upon, like I said. And in the surrounding passages, it talks about how keeping God's commandments and never letting love and faithfulness leave you. And if you do that, you will win favor and have a good name in the sight of God and man. And I think this is key as Christians to live in the image of God, and He will let us prosper. That's all.
Good job, Josiah. Yes, y'all got any comments or feedback for Josiah?
Great job, first of all. I'm curious, if you could go back and redesign your high school experience, what are some of the classes that you would have chosen to take instead?
I'm not for sure.
I agree. Just a comment. Love the topic. Great presentation.
Yes, sir.
Are there any models where student choice is working?
Sir?
Are there any schools or any models where this is working? Like this is happening to students?
I tried to research into that, but I don't think there was any schools that actually do it.
Coach, go ahead.
Good job. I love the topic. It really just kind of opens up kind of possibilities and gets you thinking. In this idea of student choice, would you be in favor of there being some type of minimum criteria, like a core set of things that maybe coming out of elementary into middle school that you had to satisfy these prerequisites and demonstrate maybe a competency in some basics like maybe reading, basic math, things like that before it opens up, or is this something that you kind of envision working all the way down from K through 12?
Yeah, I think there would be a minimum criterion because I don't think middle school would be mature enough yet. So I think high school would be the minimum level.
I've got middle school where I can't.
That was kind of my question too, is what age you would want to see this, and I gotta think having seen y'all go through this past year, choosing colleges and stuff, the pressure of a lot of these choices, is compounded by the fact that y'all never really had much of a chance to make these types of choices before. And you've not had much choice in which classes you take. It ends up becoming, and now you got to choose the whole course load for college. So it makes sense to have it in there. Also, I really liked how you talked about it's not necessarily just in what you're being taught, but how you're being taught. I think that's really significant. So yeah, all my questions got answered from all the other questions, so, great job, we're gonna move on to